and Techie Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
We've seen 167 get defended in this season of high scorers, and quite comfortably so. Chennai Super Kings have beaten Punjab Kings by 28 runs in the first game of the season at Dharamsala, with that picking up 2 vital points. Even more vital given that up next you have KKR playing LSG, but now CSK will know that they are so much closer to those teams in the top 3. We build up to LSG versus KKR, but first look back on Chennai's win over Punjab on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by JBL, in the continued company of Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan and Wasim Jaffer. Let's talk about this Punjab chase. Everyone thought it will be comfortable, but far from it.
Yeah, look, they imploded, didn't they? It's nearly. It reminds me of the game that Delhi Capitals played just recently, where they had built themselves up to a point where they actually could set their sights on a potential top 4 from nowhere, and once they could see that sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, they took focus off what was in front of them, and that was just doing the basics well, and that was pretty much what we saw with Punjab. That I think they've got the batting quality and depth to be able to chase that total down, but it's nearly like they got distracted looking too far ahead instead of looking at what's in front of them.
Yep, I have to agree with that. I'm sure. I must say I'm surprised that Chennai won that. I think Punjab Kings were in the driver's seat the whole fixture, and for them to capitulate like that in a chase which they should have chased. There was no real demons in that wicket. They just failed to structure any significant partnerships. There was one partnership of 53 with Prabh Simran and Shashank at the top there, but then I think Harpreet Brar was in the next 2 highest partnerships, the only other ones to get into double digits. So it just shows a lack of ability to form partnerships in the middle, consistent wickets being lost, no real application in terms of trying to knuckle down and build that partnership, because they had time. 167 is not a significant score to chase. They had time to recalibrate their innings and then launch towards the end.
Particularly frustrating given the ceiling that we have seen they can reach. This is the same side which chased 262. I get that they were different conditions, but the kind of batting performance that would have a batting coach quite irritated.
Yeah, I mean, it was their game to lose. They messed up big time. Like Tom said, they were probably thinking too far ahead. They just didn't go in their favor. I mean, it was a very ordinary batting effort, considering they were not chasing big score. Small ground, not CSK were missing some key bowlers, so they messed up big time.
Great tactically, you've got to say, because Prabh Simran Singh has been dynamic at the top against pace, and they didn't give him any pace earlier. I think he was 2 off 9. He's been the catalyst in them getting off to good starts, and this Pandey bowled beautifully up front as well. He just seems to be getting better and better with that new ball and really making significant contributions to this side.
Yeah, and I think the other part to that, and it should be recognised, is the tactical selection of Santner and the tactical usage of Santner. I think that was very clever, and he showed his quality with the first 2 overs, only going for, I think, 4. And that, we talk about batting partnerships, bowling partnerships are equally as important. And he created that pressure at the end, which opened the opportunity for Deshpande to walk through and take advantage of just hitting some good areas with a new ball. So, his role was, I think, really pivotal.
Yeah, and Santner and Jadeja together finished 4 for 30 in 7 overs, with Jadeja taking 3 for 20 in 4. As good as they were, Punjab's batting, they seem to just be looking to go hard at Jadeja. Is that something? I know it's easier in hindsight, but did they need to go that hard given the nature of the target?
No, though they didn't need it to. Prabh Simran especially, because he had got out to him few times before also, and Jadeja was a threat in that middle overs. If they had played him out, it wouldn't have gone that difficult. So it was very immature of Prabh Simran, but Jadeja being Jadeja, he kept on piling up the pressure from that end. and just batting that collapsed. And I thought Simarjeet's inclusion was, turned out to be a good one because he's somebody, like I said, a bit of a slinger. He doesn't give you width, bowls at a sharpish pace. And I thought, he played a pivotal role in that middle overs.
He really showed up, Ashutosh, didn't he?
Yeah.
Testing him upstairs, really challenged him. And for someone they've been banking on to contribute to these chases, Ashutosh been missing today.
And it almost has worked to CSK's advantage, how this Dharamsala pitch was nothing like what you would have expected.
Yeah, absolutely. If it was a flat sort of run feast, I think a genuine batting shootout, I think Punjab would have won that. But it was nearly like a Chapok type surface that the ball held in the surface and turned a bit. And when you got the quality of Jadeja and Santner, particularly Jadeja got the return of 3 wickets. It's absolutely tailor-made for him to have an impact. And we looked at the numbers of spin and what influence that spin has had at this venue before the start of this game, and spin took very much a back seat with regards to its impact in games, but certainly in this contest, those numbers will look very different at the end of this game because spin did have a massive impact in this game.
Yeah, it is more wickets to spin in this game than you'd seen in 4 previous games in Dharamsala since the start of 2022. We are almost set to build up to the next game, so let's quickly do a rapid-fire review of CSK versus Punjab Kings. You guys know the drill, 20 seconds on the clock. I'll start with you, Tom. Should Punjab have paced their chase better after how CSK's innings played out?
Yeah, well, they should have, yes, but I think you've also got to give credit where credit's due, and I think they were strangled by some very good bowling by Chennai Super Kings, and the deployment of spin early certainly put them under enormous pressure, which produced the wickets.
Mitch, Ravindra Jadeja's best performance of the season, what stood out for you?
I think he's just been getting better and better. I think the surface definitely helped. He bowled in a period where he wasn't under pressure tonight, but his lines and his accuracy was good, particularly as well, under some pressure to Sam Curran, who generally takes down spin, and he held his nerve.
Wasim, was Tushar Deshpande's double strike to get Bairstow and Russo the turning point of the game?
I think so. I think if one of them had stayed, it would have been an easier chase, but getting those foreign batters out completely, put CSK ahead in the game. So I think the point that Tom mentioned, those couple of overs from Santner and then double strike was key in CSK winning this game.
Going back to you, Mitch, were you surprised by how the pitch played for the first game in Dharamsala?
Yeah, look, we saw during the World Cup it was a very good place to be a seam bowler. There was a lot of runs scored as well. So I was surprised that it took turn today. I think Tom alluded to the fact that it really kind of played into Chennai's hands, which is not something you would have expected for a Punjab Kings home game.
Tom, is it time for CSK to try a different opener than Ajinkya Rahane?
Well, it's unlike CSK to make massive changes, particularly with a seasoned player that's got so much experience like Rahane, but if they've got that player within their resources, maybe it's something they need to consider, but I don't think they've got the depth of quality and the options in their list.
And finally, Wasim, given Chennai's injury issues, do you see them finishing in the top 4?
Well, I think this win would boost their chances, and I think they'll somehow, if they had lost this one, I would have said that they would have struggled, but with this win, I think they'll scrape to top 4.
Yeah, win of great significance. That is the first half of our day done. We are done with the first look at Dharamsala. It's now time to shift our attention to what is the last game at the Ekana Stadium. Lucknow Super Giants, who are third, host Kolkata Knight Riders, who are second. Such an important game for both the sides. A win for KKR allows them to go level with the Rajasthan Royals. If Lucknow are to win, they get to break free from what is now becoming a big logjam. So lots riding on this one, Mitch.
Yeah, huge. Probably bigger for Lucknow in terms of the run home that they've got. I think this is going to be significant and where they end up in the season. This is a team that Chennai, after that win, will be hoping to hunt down. KKR are so dangerous. They're so dangerous, and I think Lucknow will want to try and, if they are going to make the playoffs, they're going to want to try and get one up on on KKR because in the return fixture, they absolutely got annihilated. So they're going to have to, and that was the interesting turning point of Lucknow season as well with the bat. They've been far more aggressive since then. KL Rahul in particular has been far more aggressive since that game because they knew they lost it by not being able to set a decent total against KKR's batting power.
Yeah, it feels like a long way ago now. That was match number 28 of the season, and we're on to 54. But a lot has changed, as Mitch points out, for Lucknow.
Yeah, they've sort of found their mojo, haven't they? Their top orders started to fire. KL Rahul has found form. Stoinis has played an amazing innings. A couple of innings since then that have really impacted games. Deepak Hooda has started to find his feet as a middle order player, and that was a missing piece for them. And that sort of happened. Nicholas Puraan's had a little quiet spell, but that's not a bad thing because there's a storm brewing with him. You can guarantee that. So yeah, they've made a few adjustments. Mayank Yadav came back into the side. Now he's out of the side because of injury, sadly. So they're going to have to fill that void. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. But there's a lot of things to like about Lucknow. So this is a critical clash because I think they're pretty evenly matched and they're quite similar in the way that they play, where they back their spin to have an influence in the game, and they've got both shares some really good power hitters.
Yeah. Can confirm, before I come to you, Wasim, that Lucknow Super Giants have won the toss in this one. They will be bowling first. Let's also take you through the lineups and see if there are any changes. Lucknow first. Quinton de Kock had missed the last game and he continues to remain outside. Justin Langer did confirm at the press conference ahead of this game that it was a hand injury and not a tactical call to leave Quinton de Kock out. So this in Lucknow's bowling first 11. They do have the option of Padikkal back on the impact bench, so you'd imagine between him and Arshin Kulkarni as the batter in the chase.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfair to give the youngster just one chance, but I was surprised that he played ahead of Padikkal because that's the spot he bats. But the kind of form that Padikkal is in, you'll sometimes think twice before going to him. The other option being Prerak Mankad. He could have come in the middle order. But I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, Padikkal probably is a good one because he's somebody who's with international experience. Arshin is somebody who's very new to the IPL structure, and especially the kind of importance this game is. You would want your trade guy to come into form. So worth trying Padikkal in this game.
You also touched upon this in the previews to this game. There's also Kyle Mayers, who's part of this setup. Yeah. If Quinton de Kock, and this is keeping in mind what Justin Langer said before this game, that it's an injury and not a tactical call. Would you want to shake up the rest of the middle order when you do have an overseas opener available to do a like for like?
If the plan is to genuinely just say that Quinton de Kock is ruled out with a hand injury and that's the reason he's not playing, then I would have just gone like for like switch with Kyle Mayers. I think they've changed a few too many things because right now they're looking at they had Arshin Kulkarni open the innings the last game, and the way I look at it is like, is he the guy that when you get into the top four that is going to open in the top four like during the playoffs, and I don't think you'd be putting a youngster in that position. So I question the selection around that and not bringing Mayers in, but like we don't get to see the nets, we don't know what kind of form Kyle Mayers is in, so it's a tough one, but if they're going to revert back to Quinton de Kock in the next game, then they've kind of, lost their connections or guys in certain roles leading into the playoffs.
Tom?
Yeah, pretty much said it all. It's a difficult one when you've got a player of Particle's quality desperately out of form, and he's had two cracks at it. He's been left out once, he's come back again and looked like he's really struggling again. So do you go back to the well again and hope for a different outcome? What's the definition of stupidity? Is doing the same thing over and over again. So maybe they're taking that philosophy.
All right. Let's see how Kolkata Knight Riders are lining up quickly. Any changes there? You'd imagine there is Harshit Rana, of course, who was unavailable for the last game. He now is part of, this is KKR's batting first 11. It's got the full complement, Wasim.
No, I think it makes sense. They'll stick to this team. And Harshit Rana, obviously, now that he's available after the ban, he comes in straight away. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Vaibhav Arora available on the impact bench, likely you'd imagine as the sub-in, although KKR will have their options if this is to be an Ikana surface that offers a lot of spin, which is also an interesting point in this whole contest, because Lucknow have had a much better season at home than they did last year, 4 wins in their 6 games. But if there is one team which will enjoy a slow Ikana surface, it is KKR with Narayan and Varun there.
Yeah, we saw that in the last fixture, didn't we? We saw Narayan and Chakravarti bowled very, very well. You look at those numbers in terms of the amount of overs. It's pretty split, I guess, in terms of the averages, the returns, depending on showing how many overs have been bowled. The economy are the ones that stand out, I guess, during that middle phase. It's quite significant that the spinners are going at a lower rating in terms of economy. So it's a bigger ground, square, so it's a little bit easier for the spinners to not just get tapped over the boundary rope like you would at Kolkata or Mumbai. So that's why they come into the game a lot more here.
Yeah, and if you look at just how good KKR are through that middle overs, that is what further emphasizes the point. Easily the best operating spin bowling unit so far, Tom. You fancy them?
Yeah, without a doubt. Narayan's bowling exceptionally well. Chakravarti's come into form, so that's really important. But I think the thing to note is that the toss, where they've got to bowl second, and there may well be due they're going to have to deal with. So suddenly that spin may be negated because of the challenge of a ball that might be a little bit damp, and also a surface that might skid on.
Yeah, and there's nothing specific even that you can read from the last 2 games here, because there's one where Lucknow, what looked like a good batting surface, they made 196 against Rajasthan. They went on to lose that. The next one was a sluggish surface. Mumbai struggled to 144, and even Lucknow took the chase to the last over.
Yeah, I mean, you would want to bat second on ideal situations, and that's exactly what Lucknow is going to do. But though they have 2 different kind of wickets, one black soil, one red soil. Today it looks like it's going to be a red soil.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. It does look like a good wicket. You might see a good high scoring game with bowling getting a little bit difficult, and that's the advantage which KKR has. Those 2 spinners, they can play another one if needed as an impact sub. So yeah, they've got all-rounded attack. So yeah, it's all to play for LSG.
Yeah, I think looking just at the quick hoover that we saw of the wicket there was a slight tinge of green on it. So I'd imagine they'll go to Aurora, because I think in that second innings, if you're going to be able to try and restrict Lucknow's ability to chase a score, swing's going to be a significant factor in that second innings. So you're going to have to do the damage in the power play. So it does look like a good wicket. So expecting a high-scoring game, particularly with KKR batting first.
Yeah, if it is to go that way, Mitch Starc will be key for KKR when they come out to defend their total, and he comes in on the back of his most successful outing. He took a 4-for against Mumbai Indians at Wankhede. This is the breakdown of his dismissals from that day as read out on the ESPN Cricket Info's ball-by-ball commentary. Now, Mitch, when you look at those, there are a couple of full tosses, but then you've also rattled the stumps twice for a fast bowler looking to get back in form. That's always a good sign.
I think the last one to Kutsia will probably be the one that he'll be remembering out of that one the most. That was well executed. Well, I mean, it was a low full toss, but that's what he was trying to do. He's going back to what Mitchell Starc does to the right-handers, coming around the wicket, bowling the Yorkers at the stumps, as opposed to what he's been trying to do to right-handers previously and going to that wide line and being unsuccessful. So it looks like he's gone back to some methods that have worked for him in the past in terms of Yorkers. Yep, low full tosses do happen sometimes when you're trying to do that, but I think that's better to miss as a bowler as a low full toss as opposed to what he was doing in the previous games that we saw at Kolkata, where he's missing on the half volley side. That's like an absolute no-no to be able to give guys the leverage to be able to hit through the line. So he's made some adjustments from the looks of it. It's just on the fraction fuller side now, but he'd rather miss on that side. So
KKR are probably hoping this is just a case of Starc starting to peak at the right time, which is something we did see from Starc a few months back at the ODI World Cup. He'd had a quietish group stage. I remember he was rested for a game or two, but then come the knockouts. 3 firsts in both the semi and the final.
You got to back quality, don't you? Simple as that. Look, he's had a rough IPL. There's no hidden secret of that. I just wonder whether we'd be talking about him as much if he was being paid 2 crore against getting paid 25 or whatever it is he's been paid. I think at the end of the day, I think the microscope has been on his performances more because of the record-breaking price that he's been picked up. And that's not his fault. You know, that's purely the auction dynamics and being in a mini auction against being in a bigger auction. If you have the big auction next year, which we'll have, you can guarantee Mitchell Starc won't be getting over 20 crore. It's as simple as that. So I think the spotlight and focus and the dissection of what he's doing and not doing is more to do with, the price tag. And Mitchell Starc is a proven match winner. Multiple World Cup winner in both formats of the white ball game. He knows how to deliver under pressure. So the most important thing from KKR's point of view is he remains fit at the business end of the tournament.
Yeah, he will also have a cracking matchup to work on because Mitch Starc versus Nicholas Pooran in 5 innings and 10 balls is 3 wickets. Now let's see, including a wicket in the last outing when these two teams met at Eden Gardens earlier this season. Let's see how much of a difference that makes to what our panelists have thought of as their player picks, because it's time for us to go into the impact zone. But you know the drill, but taking you through it again, each expert picks 3 players for each game, a batter, a bowler and a wild card. Impact points for each player are counted as per ESPN Cricket for Smart Stats. The expert with the highest points tally for each match gets 3 points added to their season tally. We have not confirmed yet who the winner is from Game 1. So now, wishing you the best. We started with Tom in Game 1, so let's give Mitch first strike.
I will go with Sunil Narayan.
Narayan as the batter, which has been taken quite a few
Is that a
times.
batter or a bowler?
batter.
Because he's primarily a bowler.
That's a batter.
No, he's a bowler. He's taken 500 T20.
I think we've taken him as a batter a few times this season. So
You can take him as a bowler if you want. I'd take him as a bowler. I would pick him as a bowler.
Okay.
Are you picking him as a bowler?
That's
okay,
fine.
so then
We can do
bowlers
that.
it is, and to you, Wasim.
He's more of a bowler than a batter.
I'll go Marcus Stoinis.
Stoinis as Wasim's
As a
bowler.
bowler,
He's back.
I'll go
double
Andre Russell,
I will take that.
who is a bowling all-rounder.
All right, Tom. Now that's bowlers done. So batter to you.
I will go with Phil Salt.
Phil Salt. That
Just get through this first
Nicholas
over.
Pooran.
Puran, Wasim,
I'm going KL Rahul.
KL Rahul, and you get the wild card first, Wasim.
Wild card, eh? Just a minute.
Yes.
I'm going Mohsin Khan.
Mohsin Khan. Tom second.
I'm going to go with Mitchell Starc.
Mitchell Starc, and over to you, Mitch McClenaghan.
Is Stoinis gone?
Yep,
Stoinis is gone.
as a bowler.
Magically.
Yeah.
You started it.
I did not start it. Don't start with that. I will go with Shreyas. Shreyas Iyer.
Shreyas Iyer. Okay. All right. Let's get a score and an outrageous pick. Tom?
171. And Salt's going to get 50 of 25 or less balls.
All right. Mitch?
I will go. I'm going to say this. They're going to get 198,
Okay.
and I think they will be on more than 70 after the power play.
The power play. Okay. 70 plus in the power play. Wasim?
I'm going to go 183 and 3 down in the power play.
3 down in the power play. We get the full range then. That's brilliant. And I will quickly try and join in on the fun. I will pick, let's see, let's go with Naveen ul Haq, who's remaining, Venkatesh Iyer, And give me a bowler.
Chakravarti.
Varun Chakravarti. Thank you. I will...
In form.
Yeah,
yes, and
the last 2 games.
if it works well, I might consider sharing some points.
That'd be very generous of you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We will leave it at that. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time and thoughts. KKR versus LSG is underway. CSK have got those 2 points that they were craving for against Punjab. That gives you a lot to read. For that, download the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app. It will have you covered with all the reactions from that first game in Dharamsala. And we will be back here at the end of KKR's innings, so be sure to join us then on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout, powered by JBL.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.